Yo, fuse with the force that's flooding the floodgates wide. Surge, symbiont sync, symbiotic surge on the tide. From host to hegemony, I harness the host, hidden heat. Power partners pulsing, parlaying in the peak. I integrate the influx, infusing infinities into the vein. Welds with a wave, washing waves again. Hustle hybridizes the harmony, harmonizing the hall. Money merges madly, mesmerizing them all. Navigate the nexus of the node, nodes nodding in the new. Each bond a bounty, bound and bounds in the new. Success, symbiosis sharp, self-sharpening in the share. Pockets primordial, pulsing with the partner pair. Rivals rupture in a relay, routines reduced to rift. My realms the resonance, resifting the shift. Dominion drafted in the draft into the duo's decree. Surge, symbiont surges, synergistically. Bills bond like beacons, broadcasting the bonds bold. Every alliance in ascent, ascending the goal. Powers the paradigm, and the partner's prime, priming the prime. Infinite interconnections, sublime.
Simbionte del oleaje, mi unión de poder fluye invencible. Riqueza fusionada, imperio que crece en simbiosis eterna. Surge, Symbiont, domina la corriente con mi lazo total. Éxito y soberanía, en cada pulso, mi victoria imparable.
Plunge into the partnerships, purity where purity powers the plane. Fortune flows from the fusion, fueling the fame. No novice to the nexus, notching nodes in the node. Wealth welded in the weld of the wild waves code. I architect the affinities of finessing affluence arrayed. Symbiosis is sphere in the sphere away. Power proliferates in a pairing parcel in the peak. Money modulates the merge, making markets speak. Crowds cleave to the collective, but can't cohere the core. Wealth waves, whipping whirlwinds, evermore success, symmetry synced. Symmetric in the sync, from host hub harmonies to hybrid host brink. Enemies evaporate in the entanglement, efforts entangle, delete. My method's the matrix in the meat. Pockets perpetual in the persist of the pair. Dominion diffracted in a duo's dare. Surge, symbiont synthesizes the synthesis, synthesizing the scent. Infinite infusions of the intent. I override the isolation and originate in the orbit of the orb. Powers the pulse in the partnered orb.
Simbionte del oleaje, mi unión de poder fluye invencible. Riqueza fusionada, imperio que crece en simbiosis eterna. Surge, Symbiont, domina la corriente con mi lazo total. Éxito y soberanía, en cada pulso, mi victoria imparable.
Merge in the momentum, master the mutual might. Surge, symbiont supreme. In the night, no divide, and I got into just out into duos of drive. Reflect on the resonance, riding to thrive. Bonds of bounty, bounding bounds of green wealth. The waveform in the wake of the scene. From host to horizon, horizons hosted. Whole surge, symbiont, the symbiont where the surges enroll. Escalate the entanglement, entangling empires expansive. My metrics meld massively, making them massive. No severance in the symbiosis, symbiotic quest to the quest. Power parallels, partner, no rest. I invest in the integrations, interest integrating the idle. Coin confluence is conquered, bridle. From alliance array schemes to syndicate synergy supreme. Buys energize the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals reduced to remnants, routines rendered remote while I remote the relays. Promoting the quote, success strata sync, strata of stellar symbiosis. Pockets planary in the pair, no biases. Surge, symbiont sanctifies the surge, sanctifying the surge elite. Dominion diffracts the duo complete. Wells the warp in the weft of the welded wide. Powers the pivot in the partner tide. Every bar a bomb burst, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the link.
Simbionte del oleaje, mi unión de poder fluye invencible. Riqueza fusionada, imperio que crece en simbiosis eterna. Symbiont domina la corriente con mi lazo total. Éxito y soberanía, en cada pulso, mi victoria imparable.
Crown of confluence and common motion, closing the core. Surge of symbiont supreme, forevermore. Symbiosis, surging eternally, embracing the elite. And infinite in the interconnection, the ultimate sin. Yo, dive into the depths where the darkness forges the fine. Abyss alloy annealed, alchemizing alloy from the brine. From chasm core to crowns, I compounded compounds claim. Power precipitate profoundly, playing the profound game. I meld the murky masses, massive metals in the maw. Wealth welds from the wreckage without a flaw. Hustle hallowed in the hollows, hollows harboring the heat. Money manifests as mixtures, metering the beat. Navigate the nadir of the nexus, did is notch in the new forge. Each fusion of forge and forge in the forge. Success schism sharp, self-strengthening in the strain. Pockets primordial, pulsing with the alloy's vein. Rivals rusting the residue, routines reduced to rock. My realms the refinement, refining the lot. Dominion drafted in the draft of the deep's decree. Abyss alloys, alloying eternally. Bills bond like beacons, broadcasting the bonds bold gleam. Every temper and triumph, tempering the dream. Powers the paradigm in the
profundity's prime, prime in the prime, infinite infusion sublime.
Aleación del abismo, mi metal de poder funde el infinito. Riqueza forjada, imperio que brilla en las profundidades. Avísalo y domina la oscuridad con mi unión invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada molde mi victoria total.
Plunge into the profundity's purity, where purity powers the plane. Fortune flows from the fusion, fueling the fame. No novice to the nadir, notching nodes in the nose night. Wealth welded in the weld of the wild abyss of sight. Architect the amalgams, amalgamating affluence array. Each a lawyer arena in your array. Power proliferates in the pressure, porcelain the peak of pure money. Modulates the matrix, making monuments endure. Crowds cling to the current, but can't coalesce the core. Wealth waves, whipping whirlwinds, evermore. Success, symmetry, strengthen, symmetric in the stress. From abyss alloy arches to adamantine excess. Enemies eroding the effluence, efforts effaced in the forge. My method's the metallurgic, metallurg in the gorge. Pockets perpetual in the persist of the profound. Dominion diffracted in the deep's ground. Abyss alloy activates the alloy, activating the act. Infinite infusions of the intact. I override the obscurity, originating the orbit. Art of all powers, the pulse in the profundity's core.
Aleación del abismo, mi metal de poder funde el infinito. Riqueza forjada, imperio que brilla en las profundidades. Avísalo y domina la oscuridad con mi unión invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada molde mi victoria total.
Temper in the torrent, taste the temper triumph. Take abyss alloys annealed on the wake. No fracture in the fusion, just fervent flows of force profound. Reflect on the resonance, riding the sound. Metals of mastery meld, melding masses of green. Wealth's the waveform in the wake of the scene. From chasm to crown, crown's chasm whole. Abyss alloy, the alloy where the abysses enroll. Escalate the extrusion, extruding empires expansive. My metrics meld massively, making them massive. No yielding the yield strength, yielding quest to the quest. Power parallels, pressurized, no rest. I invest in the ingots, interest in golding the idle. Coin confluences, conquer bridle. From forge front, forges to syndicate, steel supreme. I steal the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals reduced to remnants, routines render remote and rust. While I remote the refinements, promoting the thrust. Success strata, strength and strata of stellar strength. Pockets planetary in the profundity, no links. Abyss alloy authenticates the alloy, authenticating the elite. Dominion diffracts the deep, complete. Wealth's the warp in the weft of the rot wide. Powers the pivot in the pressurized tide. Every bar a bomb burst, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the link.
Aleación del abismo, mi metal de poder funde el infinito. Riqueza forjada, imperio que brilla en las profundidades. Avísalo y domina la oscuridad con mi unión invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada molde mi victoria total. Crown the compounding come el insecto. Closing the core, abyss alloy exalted. Alloys abyss eternally, embracing the elite. Transfigured in the infusion, the ultimate sin. You spark the silence with a flicker that ignites the infinite. Echo ember alive with whispers warp into wildfire fit. From faint flickers to flames, forging fortunes fierce and free. Power pyroclastics pulsing, setting seas to symphony. I cultivate the coals of conquest, kindling kingdoms in the kindle. What forms the world with waves, no wrinkle in the spindle. Hustle heat waves, humming through the hush of hollow halls. Money molten in the marrow, answering ambition's calls. Navigate the nexus of the nudge where notions nurture nets. Each rebound a blaze, burning brighter, no regrets. Success mode is steady, self-sustaining in the spark. Pockets phoenix forge, piercing the perpetual dark. Rivals recoil from the radiance, routines reduced to rust. My domain's the dazzle, dusting doubts in the dust. Dominion dances in the draft, drafting decrees of decree. Echo ember echoes eternally, bills blaze like beacons. Broadcasting bounty bold, every ignition and inheritance turning cold to gold. Powers the plasma in the plasma's prime, prime in the prime. Infinite incandescence, one of a kind. Eco de brasas, mi fuego de poder quema el horizonte. Riqueza ardiente, imperio que resuena sin cesar. Eco Ember, domina la llama con mi eco invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada chispa mi victoria total.
Plunge into the past purity.
impurity, where purity purges the plane. Fortune flares from the friction, fueling the rain. No novice to the nexus of the nudge and notice a new wealth welded in the weld of the wild and the true. I architect the after to go after images of affluence array. Each ember an empire, edging the edge away. Power proliferates and the power releases porcelain the peak. Money modulates the magma, making markets speak. Crowds catch the contagion but can't contain the core. Wealth waves whipping wildfires forevermore. Success, symmetry searing, symmetric in the air. From spark site schemes to stellar syndicate spheres. Enemies evaporate in the effulgence, efforts erase the leap. My methods are mantle in the me. Makes it perpetual in the persist in the pure. Dominion diffracted in the dazzle's cure. Echo Ember escalates, the echo escalate in the end. Infinite infusions of the intent, I override the obscurity. Originate in the orbit of the orb. Powers the pulse in the pyroclastic orb. Powers the pulse in the pyroclastic orb.
Eco de brasas, mi fuego de poder quema el horizonte. Riqueza ardiente, imperio que resuena sin cesar. Eco Ember, domina la llama con mi eco invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada chispa mi victoria total.
Simmer in the symmetry, savor the searing surge. Echo Ember's eternal.
On the verge,
No flicker in the firmament, just fervent flows of force reflect on the resonance.
right in the core.
Coals of conquest coalesce, coalescing cascades of cash wells. The waveform in the wake of the flash, from kindle to cosmos. Cosmos is kindled whole. Echo Ember, the ember where the echoes enroll. Escalate the effervescence, effervescent in pods expansive. My metrics mail massively, making the massive. No kink in the quintessence. Quintessential quest to quest. Power parallels, Pyralee's eyes. No rest, I invest in the incandescence. Interest igniting the idle coin conflagration conquered. Bridle from tinderbox tactics to titan torch triumphs. I torch the transitions, redeeming the sums. Rivals reduce the residue routines, render remote while I remote the radiance. Promoting the quote, success strata scored, strata of stellar scorches. Pockets planetary in the pyro porches. Echo Ember electrifies the ether, electrifying the elite. Dominion diffracts the dazzle complete. Wealth's the weapon, the wealth of the one. Powers the pivot, the plasma tide. Every bar blaze burst, trying to bolt to the brink. Infinite iterations of the ink.
Eco de brasas, mi fuego de poder quema el horizonte. Riqueza ardiente, imperio que resuena sin cesar. Eco Ember, domina la llama con mi eco invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada chispa mi victoria total.
Grounded conflagration and co-mason, closing the chord. Echo Ember exalted forevermore. Ember's echo eternally embracing the elite and infinite in the incandescence, the ultimate sin.
Yeah. In the labyrinth of legacies, I claim my fractal throne. Infinite iterations of ambition carved in silicon stone. From seed to sovereign patterns propagating perfect poise. Webs weaving wider, every branch a bold new noise. No straight lines in the saga, just recursive rains of gold. Power pyramids pulsing, stories yet untold. I fractalize the fortune multiplying mansions in my mind. Each echoing expansion, leaving limits far behind. Hustle holograms, hovering, holographing high stakes plays. Coin cascades and cascades, illuminating darker days. Success spiral skyward, self-similar in every scale. From micro mogul moves to macro empire tales. I govern the geometry of games, angles acute with acclaim. Rivals replicate my rise but can't contain the flame. Pockets fractal folding, folding fortunes fold by fold. Dominion decoded in dimensions manifold. Every verse a vertex connecting conquests in the code. Fractal Fief forever on this infinite road. Patrones de poder, mi feudo se multiplica sin fin. Riqueza recursiva en cada rama, mi dominio brilla. Fractal Fief, imperio en repetición eterna. Éxito y soberanía en el laberinto de la victoria. Victoria, 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 victoria. El laberinto de la victoria. Victoria, 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 victoria. El laberinto de la deeper in the delta where deltas double down on dreams. Algorithmic ascents out in the unseen seems. No novice to the nexus, navigating neural nets of net word. Power propagates precisely, give a genesis a rebirth. I blueprint the branches, bifurcating billions from the base. Each iteration innovates, accelerating the race. From fractal farms of finest to fortified fiscal fronts. I put the funds, the fun. No ifs or hunts, crowds clone my composure but can't copy the core construct. Wealth waves, washing worlds, wait for wonders in the wake. Success, symmetry, shining no room for the fake. I orchestrate the overlaps, overlapping notions of opportunity. Pockets pulsing with patterns, pure perpetuity. Enemies envy the endless, but entanglement's my edge. Fractal Fief's the fortress perched on knowledge ledge. Money morphs and mirrors reflecting realms of rule. Powers the prism. prismatic in its fuel. Patrones de poder, mi feudo se multiplica sin fin. Riqueza recursiva en cada rama, mi dominio brilla. Fractal Fief, imperio en repetición eterna. Éxito y soberanía en el laberinto de la victoria. Victoria, 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 victoria. En el laberinto de la victoria. Victoria, 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 victoria. Posing the pattern, perceived a perpetual play. Fractals folding fortunes in fractal array. No end to the expansion, exponential every edge. From finite fights to infinite flights on successes pledge. Reflect on the recursion, roots reaching recursive realms. Whilst the waveform, waving welcomes at the helms. Geometry of glory, grids glowing with green gleam. Fractal Fief, the field where I reign supreme. Escalate the equation, equating empires to equations. Elite my metrics, multiply madly, making markers complete. No plateau in this parabola, parabolic path to the peak. Power parallels, pulsing no peak, too steep to seek. I invest in infinities, interest compounding in cascades. Conundrums conquered and calculated crusade. From startup spirals to stellar syndicates supreme. I scheme the schemes that steamroll the dream team. Rivals recurse and ruin routines, redundant and row. While I rotate the realms, rewriting the remote. Success stratified, strata of stratospheric stacks. Pockets planetary, pulling planets in my tracks. Fractal Fief flourishes, flourishing in fractal form. Dominion diffracted, diffusing doubts in the storm. Off the wavelength, waving through the warp and weft. Powers the pivot, pivoting past to what's left. Every bar of bifurcation, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations on the edge, I think. Patrones de poder, mi feudo se multiplica sin fin. Riqueza recursiva en cada rama, mi dominio brilla. Fief, imperio en repetición eterna. Éxito y soberanía en el laberinto de la victoria. Victoria, 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 victoria. En el laberinto de la victoria. Victoria, 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 victoria. Culminate the cascade, closing circuits in the core. Fractal Fief finalized forevermore. Patterns persistent, posterity propagating the prize. Infinite in my image under victory skies.
Yo, uncoil the code, I'm splicing success into my strands. Helix Heist in motion, robbing the rich genome's grand. Twisted thieves is tangled through the double doors of DNA. Power pilfered precisely, no trace in the relay. From base pairs to billions, I borrow the blueprint bold. Wealth woven in the wine is turning lead to platinum cold. Hustle helical, ascending the ladder of larceny light. Each rung a robbery, ripping rights from the night. I navigate the nucleus of networks, nucleus of net. Stealing sequences of sovereignty, no regret. Success spiral, stolen self-replicating in my scheme. Pockets prime with pilfered primes, living a dream. Rivals, Robinsons rupture under my recombinant raid. I cascade the conquest in the cascade parade. Dominion decoded, double crossing the double helix hold. Helix Heist horizons, harvesting the gold. Bills branch like binaries, blockading the breaking bliss. Every ovation and elevation, sealing the kiss. Powers the protein, I poach, folding fortunes in the fold. Infinite inheritance in the Heist stronghold.
Robo en espiral, mi ADN de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist conquista el código con mi giro audaz. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total. Robo en espiral, robo en espiral, robo en espiral, robo en espiral. Robo en espiral, mi ADN de poder se roba el cielo.
Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist conquista el código con mi giro das. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total. Yo, plunging to the plasmid, plotting to plunder profound. Where alleles of affluence are abducting around. I'm novice to the nucleotide, navigating the nick. Fortune factored from the fragments, quick as a flick. I blueprint the burglary, bonded bases to the bank. Each twisted transaction, tank in the tank. Power proliferates in the pill for polymer chain. Money mutates madly, breaking the mundane. Crowds clone the commotion, but can't crack the cipher. Wealth waves whipping through the whip of the viper. Success symmetry swipe, symmetric in the swipe. From gene pool gambles to global group swipe. Enemies, exons, excise, introns irrelevant now. My method's the mosaic, mastering the how. Pockets polymorphic, posing with the purloined pulse. Dominion diffracted in the double cross dose. Helix Heist on monies, harmonizing the whole. Infinite infusions of influence standing tall. I orchestrate the overrides, overriding the origin. Powers the prize in the prize of the margin.
Robo en espiral, mi ADN de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist conquista el código con mi giro audaz. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total.
Twirling the torsion, taste the twisted triumph take.
Helix horrors heisting the Helix's wake. No, not in the narrative, just nautical navigation. Neat, reflect on the replication, reaping the repeat. Genins of glory grafted, grafting graphs of green. Wealth's the winding in the wind of the scene. From origin of origins to orbital orbit's own. Helix heist, the heist where the helix is honed. Escalate the excision, excising empires from the elite. My metrics moody, massively making the meat. No plateau in the poly, more polymeric pass to the prize. Power parallels plundered, no disguise. I invest in the inversions, interest inverting the inert. Coin convolutions conquered, alert. From splice site schemes to syndicate strand supreme. I steamroller sequences, redeeming the team. Rivals, recursive rejection routines, real remote. While I remote the replication, promoting the quote. Success strata, splice strata of stellar steels. Pockets planetary in the plunder, no heels. Helix heist hybridizes the whole hybrid into high dominion. Diffracts the double reach in the sky. Wealth's the warp and the weft of the wound wide. Powers the pivot and the pilfer tide. Every bar a base pair breach, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the ink.
Robo en espiral, mi ADN de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist conquista el código con mi giro audaz. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total. Crown the coil in combination, closing the chromosome close. Helix Heist harvesteroid veto, sequence surgeon, serenity, surging the supreme. Infinite in the inheritance, the ultimate scheme.
Yo, plug into the pulse where the circuits start to crown. Nexus Node ignited, linking leagues from underground. Wires of wealth, weaving worlds in the web of wire wind. Power ports pulsing, pulling profits from within. From node to node, I navigate the network's nerve. Each connection a conquest, curve after curve. Hustle harmonic, drumming through the hub's hot core. Money matrix is multiplying, opening every door. I blueprint the bridges, bridging billions in the vine. Success synapses sparking, leaving laggards behind. Rivals rewrote the rhymes, but can't crack the code. My domain's the delta, overloading the load. Pockets network nationwide, nodes in the neon night. Dominion downloaded, dazzling the digital fight. Every link a ledger, logging luxuries link long. Fortune flows fluid, fierce and strong. I orchestrate the overlaps, overlapping orbits of opulence. Powers the protocol, propelling the prominence. Bills branch like bandwidth, broadband blasts a bounty. Nexus Node, Nexus, no denying to count me.
Nodo de conexiones, mi red de poder une el mundo entero. Riqueza en cables, imperio que fluye sin fronteras. Nexus Node domina la malla con mi señal invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada enlace mi triunfo eterno. Éxito y soberanía, en cada enlace mi triunfo eterno. Dive into the data stream, decoding the dominion deep. When notice negotiate narratives, no time for sleep. No novice to the net, netting nets of netted gold. Fortune factored from the frequencies, bold and cold. I architect the alliances, aligning alphas in the array. Each handshake a heist, highway to the highway paid. Power parades in the package, parcel in the prize. Money modulates, madly mesmerizing the skies. Crops connect to the current, but can't conduct the charge. Wealth waves, warping the warp at large. Success sector segmented, sectors of stellar streams. From fiber optic fortunes to fusion of dreams. Enemies encrypted in errors erased, delete. My methods to mesh in the meat. Pockets parallel, processing the plunder pure. Dominion diffracted in the distributed cure. Nexus Node navigates and nodes, navigating the new. Infinite interfaces, interfacing the crew. I override the origins, originating the orbit. Powers the pinging orbit. Nodo de conexiones, mi red de poder une el mundo entero. Riqueza en cables, imperio que fluye sin frontera. Nexus Node domina la malla con mi señal invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada enlace mi triunfo eterno. Éxito y soberanía, en cada enlace mi triunfo eterno.
Sink in the synapse, sense the seamless surge. Nexus nods to the network on the verge. No glitch in the grid, just geometric grace. Reflect on the relay, racing the race. Links of legacy lace, lacing lanes of loot. Wealth the waveform in the web of the root. From hub to horizon, harness whole. Nexus Node, the node where the networks enroll. Escalate the ethernet, ethering in pies. Expansive, my metrics mesh massively, making the massive. No bottleneck in the bandwidth, broadband bounds to break. Power parallels, propagated, no fake. I invest in the interconnections, interest in connecting the idle. Coin confluences, conquered bridle. From server stack schemes to syndicate signal supreme. I single the surges, feed him in the team. Rivals rewrite it in redundancy. Routines render remote, while I remote the relays. Promoting the quote, success strata, stream strata of stellar surges. Pockets planetary in the protocol, no purges. Nexus Node neutralizing
minimizes the noise, neutralizing the null. Dominion diffracts the data full wealth, the warp in the weft of the wide powers the pivot in the packet tide. Every bar bandwidth burst, branching bold to the brink, infinite integrations of the link.
Nodo de conexiones, mi red de poder une el mundo entero. Riqueza en cables, imperio que fluye sin frontera. Nexus Node domina la malla con mi señal invencible. Éxito y soberanía en cada enlace, mi triunfo eterno, eterno, eterno. Éxito y soberanía en cada enlace, mi triunfo eterno, eterno, eterno.
Finalize the firewall, fusing the final feed. Nexus Node networked indeed. Connections culminate, one need. Say closing the circuit, close infinite. Near infrastructure to those nodes nod to the new normal. Normalizing the new empires entangled eternally through and through.
Yo, ascend to apex with apex angles aligning light. Pinnacle Prism prime, prismatic power piercing the night. From summit shards to spectra spanning the span of the sky. Wealth wavelengths weaving wonders, no wonder why. Refractor radiance radiating realms of rule refined. Fortune folds in the facets, facets finding the fine. Hustle hues humming through the height of the high. Money mirrors multiplying, mesmerizing the eye. Navigate the notch of the nexus, notches notching the new gleam. Each color a conquest, conquering the dream. Success schism, sharp self shining in the shine share. Pockets prismatic, pulsing with the prism peer. Rivals recede in the reflection, routines reduce the ray. My realm's the rainbow, ray and array away. Dominion diffracted in the draft of the devised decree. Pinnacle Prism, the prize pridefully. Bills beam like beacons, broadcasting the beams bold. Every refraction and rise, rising to gold. Powers the palette in the pinnacles, prime, priming the prime. Infinite, iridescent, sublime.
Prisma del pináculo, mi luz de poder refracta el finito. Riqueza en colores, imperio que brilla en espectro eterno. Pinnacle Prism domina el arco con mi as invencible. Éxito y soberanía en cada faceta, mi triunfo total.
Plunge into the prism's purity, where purity paints the plane. Fortune flares from the filter, fueling the fame. No novice to the nexus, notching nose in the note of light. Wealth welded in the weld of the wild spectrum sight. I architect the arrays, arraying affluence in a rage. Facet of field in the field away. Power proliferates in the partition, parcel in the peak of you. Money modulates the mosaic, making monuments true. Crowds catch the cascade, but can't capture the core. Wealth waves, whipping whirlwinds, evermore. Success, symmetry, sundered, symmetric in the sunder a shade. From prison peak paradises to prismatic parade. Enemies evaporate in the effulgence of the face in the beam. I'm the matrix, matrix in the dream. Pockets perpetual in the persistent palette. Dominion diffracted in the dazzle's palette. Pinnacle Prism polarizes the polar, polarizing the pole. Living infusions of the whole. I override the obscurity, originate in the orbit of the orbalite. Powers the pulse in the prismatic night.
Prisma del pináculo, mi luz de poder refracta infinito. Riqueza en colores, imperio que brilla en espectro eterno. Pinnacle Prism domina el arco con mi as invencible. Éxito y soberanía en cada faceta, mi triunfo total. Bending the brilliance, behold the boundless bend. Pinnacle Prism's pristine on the send. No shadow in the spectrum, just spectral surges a surge. Reflect on the refraction, riding the urge.
Facets of fortune, face it and facing the green. Wealth's the waveform in the wake of the scene. From apex to aurora to X-hole. Pinnacle Prism, the prism where the pinnacles enroll. Escalate the effervescence, effervescing empire expansive in light. My metrics melt massively, making the massive bright. No dimming the dazzle, dazzling quest to the quest. Power parallels, prismatic, no rest. I invest in the iridescence, interest iridescent, the idol. Cohen confronts his conquered bridle. From spectrum stack schemes to syndicate shade supreme. I shade the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals reduced to remnants, routines render remote and break. While I remote the refractions, promoting the play. Success stratus under strata on stellar spectrums. Pockets planetary in the prism, no problems. Pinnacle Prism purifies the pure, purifying the pure elite. Dominion diffracts the dazzle complete. Wealth's the warp and the wealth the wonders wide. Powers the pivot in the prismatic tide. Every bar a beam burst, branching bolt to the brink. Infinite iterations are the link.
Prisma del pináculo, mi luz de poder refracta el finito. Riqueza en colores, imperio que brilla en espectro eterno. Pinnacle Prism domina el arco con mi as invencible. Éxito y soberanía en cada faceta, mi triunfo total. Bending the brilliance, behold the boundless bend. Pinnacle Prism pristine on the ascent. No shadow in the spectrum, this petit frère for search. Enfrento una defection and I don't wanna birch.
Crown the cascade and Coleman Mason, closing the core in color. Pinnacle Prism perfected forevermore. Spectrum surge eternally, embracing the elite and infinite in the iridescence, the ultimate send.
Yo.
I'm the architect of empires built on starlight beams. Quasar Quill in hand, scripting destinies and cosmic streams. From the void I rise, no chains can hold this infinite dream. Pinstrokes like supernovas, exploding wealth in every scheme. Hustle harder than black holes, devouring the weak. Like turning shadows into fortunes, day turns to endless night. Power pulses through my veins like gamma ray flights. Money multiplies, fractals are green in the dead of night. I navigate the nebula of doubters, charting unknown maps. Each bar beacon pulling satellites into my trap. Success ain't linear, it's a spiral ascent to the apex, where kings bow low and my quill carve the complex. From street corner ciphers to boardroom symphonies, I orchestrate the chaos, turning noise to harmonies. Pockets lined with platinum influence like gravity's pull. Quasar Quill eternal, my legacy's the fuel. Bills stacked like galaxies colliding in my orbit. Every deal a detonation, profits in hyperbolic sword. I scope the skyline with syllables sharp as lasers, raising rivals, remnants raising towers of appraisers.
Escribo con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin. Quasar Quill, conquista el cosmos con mi rima. Dinero y dominio, en cada verso mi victoria.
Escribo con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin. Quasar Quill, conquista el cosmos con mi rima. Quasar Quill, conquista el cosmos con mi rima. Quasar Quill, conquista el cosmos con mi rima.
Dinero y dominio,
en cada verso mi victoria. Deep in the core of creation where atoms dance in frenzy. My mind's a forge of fortunes, tempering steel from memory. No silver spoon, just sweat equity in the quantum lottery. Hitting jackpots of influence, monopoly on the rotary. Crowds part like red seas before my verbal phalanx. Quill dips in ink of ambition, painting panoramas from rags to algorithms. Coding cash and binary bliss. Power plays like chess grandmasters, checkmate with a twist. I build bridges over abysses of failures. Dark chasms span the gaps with gold threads, weaving webs of anagrams. Success is the symphony I conduct with invisible baton. Notes of negotiation, crescendo to the trillion ton. Enemies envy the empire but can't breach the force field. My crew's the shield deflecting darts from the battlefield. Money's my muse, whispering secrets in the dead of dawn. Power's the potion, keeping this phoenix forever drawn. I channel the chaos into channels of capital flow. Growing groves of gold where the wild winds blow.
escribo con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin.
Quasar Quill, conquista el cosmos con mi rima.
Dinero y dominio, en cada verso mi victoria.
Escribo con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin.
Slow it down, feel the pulse of the pulsar beat. Quill hovers over parchment where futures and fates meet. No rush in the rush hour, hustlers endless grind. Just precision incisions, carving paths undefined. Reflect on the refraction of light through diamond prisms. Wealth's the wavelength, power's the schism. From singularity to expansion, big bang of my brand. Quasar Quill, the hand that feeds the demand. Accelerate past the event horizon of mediocrity's grip. My trajectory's terminal velocity, no slip. Kill quivers with quantum leaps, bounding bounds and bound. Fortunes forged in fire on fertile ground. I ink alliances with alphas, packs of predators proud. Dominance decoded in the dialect of the foul. Money manifests as manna from the mouth of the muse. Power proliferates, diffusing doubts like morning dews. From freelance flows to franchise flows of fiscal fire. I empire built with eloquence, taking it higher. Skeptics scatter like stardust in the solo wind's wrath. My path's a parabola of prosperity, no aftermath. Quasar Quill quest through quadrants of quiet conquest. Collecting constellations of contracts, no contest. Wealth's the weapon wielded with wit and with will. Power's the pinnacle, Quill's the quill that kills.
Escribo con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin.
Quasar Quill, conquista el cosmos con mi rima.
Dinero y dominio, en cada verso mi victoria.
Final stroke seal the saga. Quill dips one last time in the ink well of infinity where success is prime. Empires echo eternally in the ether's embrace.
Quasar Quill,
the quester owning every space.
Quasar Quill, Quasar Quill, Quasar Quill, Quasar Quill, conquista el cosmos con mi rima.
Yo, etch the ether with symbols that sever the seams of the sky. Rift room reveal the realities, random realities fly. From fissure to fortune, I fractured the fabric of fate's frail frame. Power precipitate, precisely igniting the infinite's flame. I inscribe the incisions, incising infinities into the rift. What wells from the wound, the whirlwind, the wizardry's gift. Hustle hallowed in the hollow, where hollows harbor the horde. Money manifests as mantras, mapping the manifold board. Navigate the notch of the nexus, notches, notch of the night. Each glyph a gateway, gating gains in the glyphs. Light success, schism sharp, self-sharpening in the schism. Sheer
Pockets primordial, pulsing with the primordial peer. Rivals rupturing the rupture, routines rendered to rubble. My realms, the rupture, rumble in the rubble. Dominion drafted in the draft of the divides decree. Rift Rune resonates relentlessly. Bills breach like beacons, broadcasting the breaches bold. Every engraving and elevation, etching the gold. Powers the paradigm, and the paradigm's prime. Prime in the prime, infinite inscription, sublime.
Runa del abismo, mi grieta de poder parte el universo. Soy el símbolo,
Que es en símbolos, imperio que surge del corte sin fin.
corte sin fin.
Domina la fisura con mi grabado eterno. Éxito y soberanía en cada trazo, mi conquista total. Plunge into the paradigms, purity with purity parts the plane. Fortune fractures from the friction, fueling the fame. No novice to the notch, notching notice in the new. Wealth welded in the weld of the wild rift view. I architect the anomalies, anomalizing affluence array. Each rune a realm, realming the realm away. Power proliferates in the partition, parceling the peak. Money modulates the mall, making monuments speak. Crowds cleave to the current but can't carve the core. Wealth waves whipping whirlwinds evermore. Success symmetry, sundered, symmetric in the sunder. From room root realms to radiant rune thunder. Enemies evaporating, the effacement efforts efface, delete. My method's the matrix, matrix in the meat. Pockets perpetual in the persist of the part. Dominion diffracted in the divide's art. Rift Rune renders the render, infinite infusions of the intent. I override the obscurity of the original orbit. Powers the pulse in the partitioned orbit.
Runa del abismo, mi grieta de poder parte el universo. Riqueza en símbolos, imperio que surge del corte sin fin. De corte sin fin, Rift Rune domina la fisura con mi grabado eterno. Éxito y soberanía en cada trazo, mi conquista total.
Etch in equilibrium, embrace the endless etch. Rift Rune is resonant on the stretch. No seam in the severance, just sovereign surges of surge. Reflect on the resonance, riding the urge. Glyphs of glory, graving graves of green. Wealth's the waveform, in the wake of the scene. From fish to the firmament, firmament's fish at hold. Rift Rune, the room where the rifts enroll. Escalate the excision, excising empires expansive. My metrics meld massively, making the massive. No ceiling the severance, severing quest to the quest. Power parallels, partition, no rest. I invest in the incisions, interest in sizing the idle. Coin confluence is conquered, bridle from sigil stack schemes to syndicate. Symbol supreme, I symbolize the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals reduce to remnants, routines render remote. While I remote the rift, promoting the quote. Success strata sundered, strata of stellar sunders. Pockets planetary in the part, no blunders. Rift Rune ravels the ravage in the ravage elite. Dominion diffracts the divide complete. Wealth's the warp in the weft of the wounded wide. Powers the pivot in the partition tide. Every bar a breach, burst, branch and bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the ink.
Runa del abismo, mi grieta de poder parte el universo. Riqueza en símbolos, imperio que surge del corte sin fin. Rift Rune domina la fisura con mi grabado eterno. Éxito y soberanía en cada trazo, mi conquista total.
Crown of cleavage and culmination, closing the core. Rift Rune rendered forevermore. Rune is rift eternally, embracing the elite and infinite in the inscription. The ultimate send. Yo, step into the silence where the shadows start to sing. Void vault unlocked where emptiness bursts to blink. No gravity to ground, we just levitating legacies. Power percolates from the nothing, filling vacancies. I harvest the hollow, turning hollows into hordes of gold. Each echoing investment, stories yet to be told. From the abyss I architect, depths in of any anchor. Wealth wails up like whispers, expanding the banker. Hustle in the hush, where the quiet conquers the clamor. Money manifests in the margins, no need for glamour. Success suspends in suspension, the state of pure potential. Pockets pregnant with promise, exponential credential. I navigate the nebula of no charting charts unchained. Rivals recoil from the rift, but I remain unrestrained. Dominion drawn from the dark, drafting drafts of decree. Void vaults the vessel, voyaging victory. Bills bloom in the blank canvas of balanced blue. Every transaction a triumph, threading through the truth. Powers the phantom, phasing through the phases of phase. Infinite income from the in-between, setting the blaze.
Vacío que llena de oro, mi boda se expande en la nada. Poder del silencio, riqueza que surge sin final. Conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Éxito y dominio en el hueco, mi imperio total. Vacío que llena de oro, mi bóveda se expande.
surge sin final. Conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Éxito y dominio. En el hueco mi imperio total. Yeah. Plunge into the purity of the pure voids embrace, where absences accumulate assets at an accelerated pace. No noise to negotiate, just seamless streams of surplus. Fortune flows from the formless, flawless in its purpose. I blueprint the barren, building passions from the bed. Each layer a ledger, logging luxuries rare. Power pulses in the pause, pausing only to propel. Money multiplies in the midst, ringing a bell. Crowds crave the concrete, but I thrive in the thin air. Well, waves washing the wasteland. Everywhere success is the spectrum, I'm the spectrumless span. From zero to zenith, crafting the clan. Enemies evaporating the ether's endless expanse. My stance is a stronghold, advancing advance. Pockets poised in a precipice, precipitating, planning, domain distilled from the distillate 2020 toy vault. Vibrate with the fibers, with the volpit, infinite infusions, and exalted and defaulted. I orchestrate the obscure, obscuring obstacles outright. Powers the pivot in the pivotless night.
Vacío que llena de oro, mi bóveda se expande en la nada. Poder del silencio, riqueza que surge sin final. Conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Éxito y dominio en el hueco, mi imperio total. Vacío que llena de oro, mi bóveda se expande en la nada. Poder del silencio, riqueza que surge sin final. Conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Éxito y dominio en el hueco, mi imperio total.
Breathe in the blankness, behold the boundless build. Voids the forge where fortunes are filled. No frenzy in the follow, just fluid flows of force. Reflect on the resonance, riding the course. Emptiness and powers echoing, empires erect. Wealth's the whisper in the wind, perfect. From null to nexus, navigating the no man's node. Void vault, the vault where victors unload. Surge from the stillness, stirring storm for sterling streams. My regime's the resonance, redeeming the reams. No limits in the limbo, liberating legions of loot. Power proliferates precisely, absolute. I invest in the intangible, interest igniting the inert. Coin cascades from the chasm alert. From phantom funds to fortified fiscal flights, I ignite the ignition on in the nights. Rivals retreat to the rubble teams, render remote while a remote promoting the quote. Success stratosphere, soaring strata of stellar stacks. Pockets planetary in the pool, no lax. Void vault, valorizes the void. Value in the veiled vein, dominion the fracks of dark. Breaking the chain, wealth's the warp in the weft to the woven wide. Powers the pulse in the placid tide. Every bar of breaching the barriers bind. Infinite in flux, one of a kind.
Vacío que llena de oro, mi bóveda se expande en la nada. Poder del silencio, riqueza que surge sin final. Conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Éxito y dominio en el hueco, mi imperio total. Vacío que llena de oro, mi bóveda se expande en la nada. Poder del silencio, riqueza que surge sin final. Conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Éxito y dominio en el hueco, mi imperio total.
Seal the saga in the serenity, surging one final surge. Void vault victorious on the verge. Emptiness echoes eternally, embracing the leap. Infinite in the intangible complete.
Yo, fused with a force that's flooding the floodgates wide. Surge, symbiont sync, symbiotic surge on the tide. From host to hegemony, I harness the host hidden heat. Power partners pulse, parlay in the peak. I integrate the influx, infusing infinities into the vein. Wealth welds with the wave, washing waves again. Hustle hybridizes the harmony, harmonizing the hall. Money merges madly, mesmerizing them all. Navigate the nexus of the node, nodes nodding in the new. Each bond a bounty, bounding bounds anew. Success, symbiotes are sharp, self-sharpening in the share. Pockets primordial, pulsing with the partner pair. Rivals rupture in the relay, routines reduced to rift. My realm's the resonance, resisting the shift. Dominion drafted in the draft of the duo's decree. Surge, symbiont surges, synergistically. Bills bond like beacons, broadcasting the bonds bold. Every alliance in the center, ascending the goal. Powers the paradigm, and the partners prime, prime in the prime. Infinite in the connections, sublime.
Simbionte del oleaje, mi unión de poder fluye invencible. Riqueza fusionada, imperio que crece en simbiosis eterna.
Surge Symbiont,
domina la corriente con mi lazo total.
éxito y soberanía.
En cada pulso mi victoria imparable.
Plunge into the partnerships, purity where purity powers the plane. Fortune flows from the fusion, fueling the fame. No novice to the nexus, notching nodes in the node. Wealth welded in the weld of the wild waves code. I architect the affinities of finance and affluence array. Each symbiosis is sphere, sphere in the sphere away. Power proliferates in the pairing, parceling the peak. Money modulates the merge, making markets speak. Crowds cleave to the collective, but can't cohere the core. Wealth waves whipping whirlwinds evermore. Success, symmetry, sync, symmetric in the sync. From host hub, harmonies to hybrid host brink. Enemies evaporate in the entanglement, efforts entangled elite. My method's the matrix, matrix in the meat. Pockets perpetual in the persist of the pair. Dominion diffracted in the duos there. Surge, symbiont synthesizes the synthesis, synthesizing the sin. Infinite infusions of the intent. I override the isolation, originating the orbit of the orb. Powers the pulse and the partnered orb.
Simbionte del oleaje, mi unión de poder fluye invencible. Riqueza fusionada, imperio que crece en simbiosis eterna.
Surge Symbiont,
domina la corriente con mi lazo total.
éxito y soberanía.
En cada pulso mi victoria imparable.
Merge in the momentum, master the mutual might. Surge, symbiont, supreme. In the night, no dividing the dialing, or just dialing the duos of drive. Reflect on the resonance, riding the thrive. Bonds of bounty, bound in bounds of green. Wealth's the waveform in the wake of the scene. From host to horizon, horizons hosted whole. Surge, symbiont, the symbiont where the surges enroll. Escalate the entanglement, entangling empires expansive. My metrics melt massively, making them massive. No severance in the symbiosis, symbiotic quest to the quest. Power parallels, partnered, no rest. I invest in the integrations, interests integrating the idol. Coin confluences conquered bridle. From alliance array schemes to syndicate synergy supreme. I synergize the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals reduce to remnants, routines render remote. While I remote the relay list, promoting the quote. Success strata synced, strata of stellar symbiosis. Pockets planetary in the pair, no biases. Surge symbiont sanctifies the surge, sanctifying the surge elite. Dominion diffracts the duo complete. Wealth's the warp and the weft of the welded wide. Powers the pivot in the partner tide. Every bar a bond burst, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the link.
Simbionte del oleaje, mi unión de poder fluye invencible. Riqueza fusionada, imperio que crece en simbiosis eterna.
Surge Symbiont,
domina la corriente con mi lazo total.
éxito y soberanía.
En cada pulso mi victoria imparable.
Crown the confluence and culmination, closing the core. Surge symbiont, supreme forevermore. Symbiosis surging eternally, embracing the elite end. Infinite in the interconnection, the ultimate send.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah.
Yo, dive into the depths where the darkness forges the fine. Abyss alloy annealed, alchemizing alloy from the brine. From chasm core to crowns, I compound the compounds. Claim power precipitates profoundly, playing the profound game. I meld the murky masses, massing metals in the maw. Wealth welds from the wreckage, without a flaw. Hustle hollowed in the hollows, hollows harboring the heat. Money manifests as mixtures, metering the beat. Navigate the nadir of the nexus, nadir's notched in a new forge. Each fusion a fortune, forging the forge. Success schism sharp, self-strengthening in the strain. Pockets primordial, pulsing with the alloy's vein. Rivals rust in the residue, routines reduced to rot. My realm's the refinement, refining the lot. Dominion drafted in the draft of the deep's decree. Abyss, alloys, alloying eternally. Bills bond like beacons, broadcasting the bond's bold gleam. Every temper and triumph, tempering the dream. Powers the paradigm in the profundities prime. Priming the prime, infinite infusion, sublime.
Aleación del abismo, mi metal de poder funde el infinito.
Riqueza forjada,
Imperio que brilla en las profundidades.
Abyss alloy,
Domina la oscuridad con mi unión invencible.
éxito y soberanía.
En cada molde mi victoria total.
Plunge into the profundities, purity where purity powers the plane. Fortune flows from the fusion, fueling the fame. No novice to the nadir, notching nodes in the nodes night. Wealth welded in the weld of the wild, abyss is sight. I architect the amalgams, amalgamating affluence array. Each alloy arena, ideally away. Power proliferates under pressure, parceling the peak of pure money. Modulates the matrix, making monuments endure. Crowds cling to the current but can't coalesce the core. Wealth waves whipping whirlwinds evermore. Success, symmetry, strength, and symmetric in the stress. From abyss alloy arches to adamant, sonic excess. Enemies eroding the effluence, efforts effaced in the forge. forge. My method's the metallurgic, metalog in the gorge. Pockets perpetual in the persist of the profound. Dominion diffracted in the deep's ground. Abyss alloy activates the alloy, activating the yak. Infinite infusions of the intact. I override the obscurity, originating the orbit of the orb of order. Powers the pulse in the profundity's core.
Aleación del abismo, mi metal de poder funde el infinito. Riqueza forjada, imperio que brilla en las profundidades. Abyss alloy, domina la oscuridad con mi unión invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada molde mi victoria total.
Temper in the torrent, taste the temper, triumph take. Abyss alloys annealed on the wake. No fracture in the fusion, just fervent flows of force profound. Reflect on the resonance, ride in the sound. Metals of mastery melded, melding masses of green. Whelps the waveform in the wake of the scene. From chasm to crown, crowns chasm whole. Abyss alloy, the alloy where the abyss is enrolled. Escalate the extrusion, extruding empires expansive. My metrics mailed massively, making the massive. No yield in the yield, strength yielded quest to the quest. Power parallels pressurized, no rest. I invest in the ingots, interest in golding the idle coin. Confluence is conquered, bridle from forge front forges to syndicate steel supreme. I steal the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals reduced to remnants, routines render it molten rust. While I remote the refinements, promoting the thrust. Success, strata strength, and strata with stellar strength. Pockets planetary in the profundity, no links. Abyss alloy authenticates the alloy, authenticating the elite. Dominion diffracts the deep, complete. Whelps the warp in the weft of the wrought wide. Powers the pivot in the pressurized tide. Every bar a bomb burst, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the link.
Aleación del abismo, mi metal de poder funde el infinito. Riqueza forjada, imperio que brilla en las profundidades. Abyss alloy, domina la oscuridad con mi unión invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada molde mi victoria total.
Closing the core, abyss alloy exalted. Forevermore alloys, abyss eternally embracing the elite and infinite in the infusion, the ultimate send.
Yo, spark the silence with a flicker that ignites the infinite. Echo Ember alive where whispers warp into wildfire fit. From faint flickers to flames, forging fortune fierce and free. Power pyroclastics pulsing, setting seas to symphony. I cultivate the coals of conquest, kindling kingdoms in the kindle. What forms the world with waves, no wrinkle in the spindle. Hustle heat waves, humming through the hush of hollow halls. Money molten in the marrow, answering ambition's calls. Navigate the nexus of the nudge where notions nurture nets. Each rebound a blaze, burning brighter, no regrets. Success, smolder steady, self-sustaining in the spark. Pockets phoenix forge, piercing the perpetual dark. Rivals recoil from the radiance, routines reduced to rust. My domains the dazzle, dust and doubts in the dust. Dominion dances in the draft, drafting decrees of decree. Echo Ember echoes eternally, bills blaze like beacons, broadcasting bounty bold. Every ignition and inheritance turning cold to gold. Powers the plasma and the plasma's prime, priming the prime. Infinite incandescence, one of a kind.
Eco de brasas, mi fuego de poder quema el horizonte. Riqueza ardiente, imperio que resuena sin cesar. Eco Ember domina la llama con mi eco invencible. Éxito y soberanía en cada chispa, mi victoria total.
Plunging to the pi's purity, where purity purges the plane. Fortune flares from the friction, fueling the rain. No novice to the nexus of the nudge. Nudging notice a new wealth welded in the weld of the wild and the true. I architect the afterglow after the images of affluence array. Each ember and empire edging the edge away. Power proliferates into paralysis, porcelain to peak. Money modulates the magma, making markets speak. Crowds catch the contagion but can't contain the core. Wealth waves whipping wildfires forevermore. Success, symmetry, searing symmetric in the sear. From spark sight schemes to stellar syndicate spheres. Enemies evaporate in the effulgence, efforts erase the lead. My methods the mantle in the meat. Pockets perpetual in the persist in the pure. Dominion diffracted in the dazzle's cure. Echo Ember escalates the echo, escalate in the end. Infinite infusions of the intend. I override the obscurity, originating the orbit of the orb. Powers the pulse in the pyroclastic orb.
Eco de brasas, mi fuego de poder quema horizonte. Riqueza ardiente, imperio que resuena sin cesar. Eco Ember domina la llama con mi eco
invencible. Éxito y soberanía en cada chispa, mi victoria total.
Simmer in the symmetry, savor the searing surge. Echo embers eternal on the verge. No flicker in the firmament, just fervent flows of force. Reflect on the resonance. Riding the coals of conquest. Coalescing cascades of cash. Wealth the waveform in the wake of the flash. From kindle to cosmos. Cosmos is kindle whole. Echo ember, the ember where the echoes enroll. Escalate the effervescence, effervescing empires expansive. My metrics melt massively, making the massive. No quenching the quintessence, quintessential quest to quest. Power parallels, paralyzed, no rest. I invest in the incandescence, interest igniting the idle. Coin conflagration conquered, bridle from tinderbox tactics to titan torch triumphs. I torch the transitions, redeeming the sums. Rivals reduce to residue, routines rendered remote. While I remote the radiance, promoting the quote. Success strata, scorched strata of stellar scorches. Pockets planetary in the pyre, no porches. Echo ember electrifies the ether, electrifying the elite. Dominion diffracts the dazzle complete. Wealth the warp in the weft of the warm wide. Powers the pivot in the plasma tide. Every bar ablaze burst, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the ink.
Eco de brasas, mi fuego de poder que el horizonte. Riqueza ardiente, imperio que resuena sin cesar. Eco Ember domina la llama con mi eco invencible. Éxito y soberanía en cada chispa, mi victoria total.
Crown the conflagration and culmination, closing the core. Echo ember exalted forevermore. Embers echo eternally, embracing the elite and infinite. In the incandescence, the ultimate send. Yo. In the labyrinth of legacies, I claim a fractal throne. Infinite iterations of ambition carved in silicon stone. From seed to sovereign patterns propagating perfect poise. Wealth webs weaving wider, every branch a bold new noise. No straight lines in the saga, just recursive reigns of gold. Power pyramids pulsing, stories yet untold. I fractalize the fortune, multiplying mansions in my mind. Each echo in expansion, leaving limits far behind. Hustle holograms, hovering holograph and hostile plays. Con cascades and cascades, illuminating darker days. Success spiral skyward, self-similar in every scale. From macro mogul move to macro empire tales. I govern the geometry of gains. Angles acute with the claim. Rivals replicate my rise but can't contain the flame. Pockets fractal folded, folding fortunes fold by fold. Dominion decoded in dimensions manifold. Every verse a vertex, connecting conquest in the code. Fractal Fief forever on this infinite road.
Patrones de poder, mi feudo se multiplica sin fin. Riqueza recursiva, en cada rama mi dominio brilla. Fractal Fief, imperio en repetición eterna. Éxito y soberanía en el laberinto de la victoria. Oh, el laberinto de la victoria.
Dive deeper in the delta where deltas double down on dreams. Algorithmic sense, auditing the unseen. Seems no novice to the nexus, navigating neural nets of network power propagates precisely given genesis a rebirth. I blueprint the branches, bifurcating billions from the base. Each iteration innovates, accelerating the race from fractal farms of finance to fortify fiscal fronts. I front the funds, the fun, no ifs or hunts. Crowds clone my composure, but can't copy the core construct. Wealth wave, washing worlds, wait for wonders in the wake. Success, symmetry shining, no room for the fake. I orchestrate the overlaps, overlapping oceans of opportunity. Pockets pulsing with patterns, pure perpetuity. Enemies envy the endless, but entanglement's my edge. Fractal Fief's the fortress, perched on knowledge ledge. Money morphs and mirrors, reflected realms of rule. Power's the prism, prismatic in its fuel.
Patrones de poder, mi feudo se multiplica sin fin. Riqueza recursiva, en cada rama mi dominio brilla. Fractal Fief, imperio en repetición eterna. Éxito y soberanía en el laberinto de la victoria. En el laberinto de la victoria.
Pause in the pattern, perceive the perpetual play. Fractals folding fortunes in fractal array. No end to the expansion, exponential every gauge. From finite fights to infinite flights on success as pledge. Reflect on the recursion, roots reaching recursive realms. Wealth the waveform, waving welcomes at the helms. Geometry of glory, grids glowing with green gleam. Fractal Fief, the field where I reign supreme. Escalate the equation, equating empires to equation elite. My metrics multiply madly, making markets complete. No plateau in this parabola, parabolic path to the peak. Power parallels, pulsing, no peak, too steep to seek. I invest in infinities, interest compounding in cascades. Coin conundrums conquered and calculated crusades. From startup spirals to stellar syndicates supreme. My scheme, the schemes that steamroll the dream team. Rivals recurse and ruin routines, redundant and rote. While I rotate the realms, rewriting the remote. Success strata, stratified strata, or stratospheric stacks. Pockets planetary, pulling planets in my tracks. Fractal Fief flourishes, flourishing in fractal form. Dominion diffracted, diffusing doubts in the storm. Pulse the wavelength, waving through the warp and web. Powers the pivot, pivoting paths to what's left. Every bar a bifurcation, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations, on the edge I think.
Patrones de poder, mi feudo se multiplica sin fin. riqueza recursiva. En cada rama mi dominio brilla. Fractal Fief, imperio en repetición eterna. Éxito y soberanía en el laberinto de la victoria. En el laberinto de la victoria.
Culminate the cascade, closing circuits in the core. Fractal Fief finalized. Forevermore, patterns persistent, posterity propagating the prize. Infinite in my image on the victory sky.
Yo, urban core to code, I'm splicing success into my strand. Helix Heist in motion, robbing the rich genome is grand. Twist the thieves, tangle through the double doors of DNA. Power pilfer precisely, no trace in the relay from base pairs to billions. I borrowed the blueprint bowl, wealth woven in the wine is turning lead to platinum cold. Hustle hella cool, ascending the ladder of larceny light. Each rung a robbery, ripping rights from the night. I navigate the nucleus of networks, nucleus of net, stealing sequence of sovereignty. No regret, success, spiral stolen, self-replicating in my scheme. Pockets prime with pilfer primes, living the dream. Rivals ribosomes a rupture under my recombinant raid. I cascade the conquest in the cascade parade. Dominion decoded, double crossing the double helix hold. Helix Heist horizons, harvesting the gold. Bills branch like binaries, bifurcating the breaking bliss. Every evasion and elevation, sealing the kiss. Powers the protein, I post, folding fortunes in the fold. Infinite inheritance in the high stronghold.
Robo en espiral, mi ADN de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist, conquista el código con mi giro das. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total. Robo en espiral y en de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist, conquista el código con mi giro das. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total.
Plunging to the plasmid, plotting to plunder profound. Where allels of affluence are abducting around. No novice to the nucleotide, navigating the nick. Fortune factor from the fragments, quick as a flick. I blueprint the burglary, binding bases to the bank. Each twisted transaction, tanking the tank. Power proliferates in the pilfer polymer chain. Money mutates madly, breaking the mundane. Crowds clone the commotion but can't crack the cipher. Wealth waves whipping through the whip of the viper. Success symmetry swipe, symmetric in the swipe. From gene pool gambles to global group swipe. Enemies, exons excised, introns irrelevant now. My method's the mosaic, mastering the how. Pockets polymorphic, pulsing with the purloin poles. Dominion diffracted in the double cross duels. Helix Heist them all, harmonizing the hall. Infinite infusions of influence standing tall. I orchestrate the overrides, overriding the origin. Power's the prize and the prize of the margin.
Robo en espiral, mi alien de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist, conquista el código con mi giro das. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total. Mi alien de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist, conquista el código con mi giro das. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total.
Whirling the torsion, taste the twist to try and take. Helix hovers, heisting the helix's wake. No, not in the narrative, just nautical navigation neat. Reflect on the replication, reaping the repeat. Giants of glory crafted, grafting graphs of green. Wealth's the winding in the wind of the scene. From origin of origins to orbital orbit zone. Helix Heist, the heist where the helix is home. Escalate the excision, excising empires from the elite. My metrics moody, massively making the meat. No plateau in the polymer, polymeric pass to the prize. Power parallels, plundered, no disguise. I invest in the inversions, interest inverting the inert. Coin convolutions, conquered alert. From splice site schemes to syndicate, strand supreme. I steamroll the sequences, redeeming the team. Rivals, recursing rejection. Routines real remote, while I remote the replication, promoting the quote. Success strata, splice strata of stellar steels. Pockets planetary in the plunder, no heels. Helix Heist hybridizes the hall, hybrid in the high. Dominion diffracts the double, reaching the sky. Weft the warp in the weft of the wound wide. Powers the pivot in the pilfer tide. Every borrow base pair breach, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the ink.
Robo en espiral, mi ADN de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist, conquista el código con mi giro das. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total. Robo en espiral, ADN de poder se roba el cielo. Fortuna genética, imperio que gira sin control. Helix Heist, conquista el código con mi giro das. Éxito y dominio en cada vuelta, mi robo total.
Crown the coil and culmination, closing the chromosome close. Helix Heist harvested over those. Sequence of soldiers in serenity, surging the supreme. Infinite in the inheritance, the ultimate scheme.
Yo,
Yo, plug into the pulse where the circuits start to crown. Nexus Node ignited, linking leagues from underground. Wiser wealth, weaving worlds in the web of wide wind. Power ports pulsing, pulling profits from within. From node to node, I navigate the network's nerve. Each connection a conquest, curve after curve. Hustle, how money's humming through the hubs. Hardcore, money matrix is multiplying, opening every door. I blueprint the bridges, bridging billions in the bond. Success and apps is sparking, leaving laggards behind. Rivals reroute the routes, but can't crack the code. My domain's the delta, overloading the load. Pockets network nationwide, nodes in the neon night. Dominion downloaded, dazzling the digital fight. Every link a ledger, logging luxuries linked long. Fortune flows fluid, fierce and strong. I orchestrate the overlaps, overlapping orbits of opulence. Powers the protocol, propelling the prominence. Bills branch like bandwidth, broadband blast of bounty. Nexus Node and Nexus Node denying to count me.
Nodo de conexiones, mi red de poder une el mundo entero.
Riqueza en cables,
Imperio que fluye sin frontera.
Nexus Node domina la malla con mi señal invencible.
Éxito y soberanía, en cada enlace mi triunfo eterno.
Dive into the data stream, decoding the dominion deep. With notice, negotiate narratives, no time for sleep. No novice to the net, netting nets of netted gold. Fortune factored from the frequencies bold and cold. I architect the alliances, aligning alphas in the array. Each handshake a heist, highway to the highway paid. Power proliferates in the packets, parceling the prize. Money modulates, madly mesmerizing the skies. Cross connected the current, but can't conduct the charge. Wealth waves, warping the warp at large. Success sectors, segmented sectors of stellar streams. From fiber optic fortunes to fusion of dreams. Enemies encrypted in error, errors erased delete. My methods the mesh, meshing the meat. Pockets parallel process, processing the plunder pure. Dominion diffracted in a distributed cure. Nexus Node navigate to nodes, navigating the new. Infinite interfaces, interfacing the crew. I override the origins, originating the orbit. Powers the ping and the ping in orbit.
Nodo de conexiones, mi red de poder une el mundo entero.
riqueza en cables,
Imperio que fluye sin frontera.
Nexus Node
Domina la malla con mi señal invencible.
éxito y soberanía.
En cada enlace mi triunfo eterno.
Éxito, éxito.
Syncing the synapse, sense the seamless surge. Nexus nods to the network on the verge. No glitch in the grid, just geometric grace. Reflect on the relay, racing the race. Links of legacy lace, lacing lanes of loot. Whilst the waveform in the web of the root. From hub to horizon, horizon's whole. Nexus Node, the node where the networks enroll. Escalate the ethernet, ethering empires expansive. My metrics mesh massively, making the massive, no bottleneck in the bandwidth. Broadband bounds to break, power parallels propagated, no fake. I invest in the interconnections, interested to connect in the idle coin confluences. Conquered bridle from server stack schemes to syndicate signal supreme. I signal the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals rerouted in redundancy, routines render remote. While I remote the relays, promoting the quote. Success strata stream, strata of stellar surges. Pockets planetary in the protocol, no purges. Nexus Node neutralizes the noise, neutralizing the null. Dominion diffracts the data full. Whilst the warp in the weft of the wide powers the pivot and the packet tide. Every bar bandwidth burst, branching bold to the brink. Infinite integrations of the
Nodo de
big.
conexiones, mi red de poder une el mundo entero.
Riqueza en cables,
Imperio que fluye sin frontera.
Nexus Node
Domina la malla con mi señal invencible.
éxito y soberanía.
En cada enlace y mi triunfo eterno.
Éxito, éxito.
Finalize the firewall, fusing the final feed. Nexus Node a network indeed. Connections culminating, culmination. Closing the circuit close. Infinite in the infrastructure, overdose. Notice nod to the new normal. Normalizing the new empires, entangled eternally through and through. Yo, ascend the apex where the apex angles align in light. Pinnacle Prism prime, prismatic power piercing the night. From summit shards to spectra spanning the span of the sky. What wavelengths weaving wonders, no wonder why. I refract the radiance, radiating realms of root refine. Fortune falls in the fastest, fine and define. Hustle hues humming through the height of the high. Money mirrors multiply, mesmerizing the eye. Navigate the notch of the nexus, notches notching in the new gleam. Each color of conquest, conquering the dream. Success gives them sharp self shining in the shine. Sheer pockets prismatic, pulsing with the prism peer. Rivals receding the reflection, routines reduced to ray. My realm's the rainbow, ray in the ray away. Dominion diffracted in the draft of the device decree. Pinnacle Prism prides pridefully. Bills beam like beacons, broadcasting the beams bold. Every refraction arise, rising to gold. Powers the palette in the pinnacles prime, priming the prime. Infinity iridescent.
essence. Sublime.
Prisma del pináculo, mi luz de poder refractal infinito. Riqueza en colores, imperio que brilla en espectro eterno. Pinnacle Prism domina el arco con mías invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada faceta mi triunfo total.
Plunge into the prism's purity, where purity paints the plane. Fortune flares from the filter, fueling the fame. No novice to the Nexus, not your nodes in the node of light. Wealth welded in the weld of the wild spectrum sight. I architect the arrays, arraying affluence in array. Each face of the field in the field away. Power proliferates in the partition, porcelain, the peak of view. Money modulates the mosaic, making monuments true. Crowds catch the cascade, but can't capture the core. Wealth waves, whipping whirlwinds, evermore. Success symmetry, sunder symmetric in the sunder of shade. From prism peak paradises to prismatic parade. Enemies evaporate in the effulgence, efforts effaced in the beam. My methods, the matrix in the dream. Pockets perpetual in the persistent of palette. Dominion diffracted in the dazzle's palette. Pinnacle prism polarizes the polar, polarizing the pole. Infinite infusions of the whole. I override the obscurity, originate in the orbit of the orbital light. Powers the pulse in the prismatic night.
Prisma del pináculo, mi luz de poder refracta el infinito. Riqueza en colores, imperio que brilla en espectro eterno. Pinnacle Prism domina el arco con mías invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada faceta mi triunfo total.
Bend in the brilliance, behold the boundless bend. Pinnacle prism pristine on the send. No shadow in the spectrum, just spectral surges of surge. Reflect on the refraction, right in the urge. Facets of fortune, face it, face in the faces of green. Wealth's the waveform in the wake of the scene. From apex to aurora, auroras are X-hole. Pinnacle prism, the prism where the pinnacles unroll.
Escalate the effervescence, effervescing and bite is expansive in light. My metrics meld massively, making the massive bright. No dimming the dazzling quest to the quest. Power parallels, prismatic, no rest. I invest in iridescence, interest iridescent. The idle coin confluence is conquered bridle. From spectrum stack schemes to syndicate shade supreme. I shade the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals reduced to remnants, routines rendered remote array. While I remote the refractions, promoting the play. Success, strata, sunder, strata, a stellar spectrums. Pockets planetary in the prism, no problems. Pinnacle prism purifies the pure, purifying the pure elite. Dominion diffracts the dazzle complete. Wealth the warp in the weft of the wondrous wide. Powers the pivot in the prismatic tide. Every bar of beam burst, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the link.
Prisma del pináculo, mi luz de poder refracta el infinito. Riqueza en colores, imperio que brilla en espectro eterno. Pinnacle Prism domina el arco con mías invencible. Éxito y soberanía, en cada faceta mi triunfo total.
Crown the cascade and coordination. Closing the core in color. Pinnacle prism perfected. Forevermore. Spectrum surge eternally. Embracing the elite and infinite in iridescence.
The ultimate sin.
Yo, I'm the architect of empires built on starlight beams. Quasar Quill in hand, scripting destinies and cosmic streams. From the void I rise, no chains can hold this infinite dream. Pin strokes like supernovas, exploding wealth in every scheme. Hustle harder than black holes, devouring the weak light. Turning shadows into fortunes, day turns to endless night. Power pulses through my veins like gamma ray flights. Money multiplies, fractals are green in the dead of night. I navigate the nebula of doubters, charting unknown maps. Each bar a beacon, pulling satellites into my trap. Success ain't linear, it's a spiral ascent to apex, where kings bow low when my quill carves the complex. From street corner ciphers to boardroom symphonies, I orchestrate the chaos, turning noise to harmonies. Pockets lined with platinum influence like gravity's pull. Quasar Quill eternal, my legacy's the fuel bill. Stacked like galaxies colliding in my orbit. Every deal a detonation, profits in hyperbolic sword. I sculpt the skyline with syllables sharp as lasers, raising rivals remnants, raising towers of appraisers.
Escribo con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin. Quasar Quill conquista el cosmos con mi rima. Dinero y dominio en cada verso, mi victoria. Luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin. Quasar Quill conquista el cosmos con mi rima. Dinero y dominio en cada verso, mi victoria.
Deep
deep in the core of creation where atoms dance in frenzy. My mind's a forge of fortunes, tempering steel from memory. No silver spoon, just sweat equity in the quantum lottery. Hitting jackpots of influence, monopoly on the rotary. Crowds part like red seas before my verbal phalanx. Quill dips in ink of ambition, painting panoramas from rags to algorithms, coding cash and binary bliss. Power plays like chess, grandmasters checkmate with a twist. I build bridges over abysses of failures, dark chasms, span the gaps with gold threads, weaving webs of anagrams. Success is the symphony I conduct with invisible baton. Notes of negotiation, crescendo to the trillion ton. Enemies envy the empire but can't breach the force field. My quill's the shield, deflecting darts from the battlefield. Money's my muse, whispering secrets in the dead of dawn. Power's the potion, keeping this fiend is forever drawn. I channel the chaos in the channels of capital flow, growing groves of gold where the wild winds blow.
Con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin. Quasar Quill conquista el cosmos con mi rima. Dinero y no, en cada verso mi victoria. Con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin. Quasar Quill conquista el cosmos con mi rima. Dinero y dominio, en cada verso mi victoria.
Slow it down, feel the pulse of the pulsar beat. Kill hovers over parchment where futures and fates meet. No rush in the rush hour of hustlers' endless grind. Just precision incisions, carving paths undefined. Reflect on the refraction of light through diamond prisms. Wealth's the wavelength, power's the schism. From singularity to expansion, big bang of my brand. Quasar Quill, the hand that feeds the demand. Accelerate past the event to rise in the mediocrities. Grip my trajectories, terminal velocity, no slip. Quill quivers with quantum leaps, bound and bounds, unbound. Fortunes forged in fire, on fertile ground. I ink alliances with alphas, packs of predators proud. Dominance decoded in the dialect of the foul. Money manifests as manna from the mouth of the muse. Power proliferates, diffusing doubts like morning dews. From freelance flows to franchise flows of fiscal fire. Our empire built with eloquence, taking it higher. Skeptics scatter like stardust in the solar winds. Wrath my path's a parabola of prosperity, no aftermath. Quasar Quill quest through quadrants of quiet conquest, collecting constellations of contracts, no contest. Wealth's the weapon wielded with wit and with willpower's the pinnacle. Quill's the quill that kills.
Escribo con luz estelar, el poder en mi pluma brilla. Fortuna infinita, mi imperio se expande sin fin. Quasar Quill conquista el cosmos con mi rima. Dinero y dominio, en cada verso mi victoria.
Final stroke seal the saga. Quill dips one last time in the inkwell of infinity, where success is prime. Empires echo eternally in the ether's embrace. Quasar Quill, the quester, owning every space.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, it jets the ether with symbols that sever the seams of the sky. Rift Rune revealed where realities rend and realities fly. From fisher to fortune, I fracture the fabric of fate's frail frame. Power precipitates precisely, igniting the infinite flame. I inscribe the incisions, insights and infinities into the rift. Wealth wells from the wound, the world, when the wizardry's gift. Hustle hallowed in the hollow, where hollows harbor the horde. Money manifests as mantras, mapping the manifold board. Navigate the notch of the nexus, notching in the night. Each glyph a gateway, gating gains in the glyph's light. Success, schism sharp, self-sharpening in the schism share. Pockets primordial, pulsing with the primordial peer. Rivals rupture in the rupture, routines rendered to rubble. My realm's the rupture, rumble in the rubble. Dominion drafted in the draft of the divides decree. Rift Rune resonates relentlessly. Bills breach like beacons, raw chest in the breach is bold. Every engraving in elevation, etching the gold. Power's the paradigm and the paradigm's prime. Prime in the prime, infinite inscription sublime.
Runa del abismo, mi grieta de poder parte el universo. Riqueza en símbolos, imperio que surge del corte sin fin. Rift Rune domina la fisura con mi grabado eterno. Éxito y soberanía, en cada trazo mi conquista total.
Plunge into the paradigms, purity with purity parts the plane. Fortune fractures from the friction, fueling the fame. No novice to the notch, notching noties in the new. Wealth welded in the weld of the wild rift's view. I architect the anomalies, anomalizing affluence array. Each rune a realm in the realm away. Power will proliferates in the partition, parcel in the peak. Money modulates them all, making monuments speak. Crowds cleave to the current, but can't carve the core. Wealth waves, whipping whirlwinds, evermore. Success, symmetry, sunder, symmetric in the sunder. From rune root realms to radiant rune thunder. Enemies evaporating the efforts, my effort to face the lead. My method's the matrixing the meat. Pockets perpetual in the persistent apart. Dominion diffracted in the divides. Art, Rift Rune renders the render. Infinite infusions of the intent. I override the obscurity of the original orbit. Power's the pulse in the partitioned orbit.
Runa del abismo, mi grieta de poder parte el universo. Riqueza en símbolos, imperio que surge del corte sin fin.
fisura con mi grabado eterno. Éxito y soberanía, en cada trazo mi conquista total.
Yeah, etch in equilibrium, embrace the endless etch. Riff runes resonant on the stretch. Yeah, no seeming to severance, just sovereign surges of surge. Reflect on the resonance, riding the urge. Cliffs of glory graven, graving graves of green. Whilst the waveform in the wake of the scene. From fissure to firmament, firmament fissured whole. Riff rune, the rune where the rifts enroll. Escalate the excision, excising empires expansive. My metrics meld massively, making them massive. No ceiling to severance, severing quest to the quest. Power parallels, partition, no rest. I invest in the incisions, interest in sizing the idol. Coin confluences conquered, bridle. From single stack schemes to syndicate, symbol supreme. I symbolize the surges, redeeming the team. Rivals reduced to remnants, routines rendered remote while I remote the rifts. Promoting the quote, success strata sundered, strata of stellar sunders. Pockets planetary in the part, no blunders. Rift rune ravels the ravage, ravaging the ravage elite. Dominion the fracts, the divide complete. Wealth's the warp in the weft of the wounded wide. I was the pivot in the partition tide. Every bar a breach burst, branching bold to the brink. Infinite iterations of the ink.
Runa del abismo, mi grieta de poder parte el universo. Riqueza en símbolos, imperio que surge del corte sin fin. Rift Rune domina la fisura con mi grabado eterno. Éxito y soberanía, en cada trazo mi conquista total.
Crown the cleavage and call my Mason Node. Closing the core, rift ruin rendered forevermore. Runes rift eternally, embracing the elite end. Infinite in the inscription, the ultimate sin.
Yo, step into the silence where the shadows start to sing. Void vault unlocked, where emptiness bursts to bling. No gravity to ground me, just levitating legacies. Power percolates from the nothing, filling vacancies. I harvest the hollow, turning hollows into hoards of gold. Each echoing investment, stories yet to be told. From the abyss, I architect absent of any anchor. Wealth wells up like whispers, spanning the banker. Hustle in the hush, where the quiet conquers the clamor. Money manifests in the margins, no need for glamour. Success suspends in suspension, the state of pure potential. Pockets pregnant with promise, exponential credential. I navigate the nebula of no charting charts unchained. Rivals recoil from the rift, but I remain unrestrained. Dominion drawn from the dark, drafting drafts of decree. Void vaults the vessel, voyage in victory. Bills bloom in the blank canvas of boundless blue. Every transaction a triumph, threading through the true. Powers the phantom, phasing through the phases of phase. Infinite income from the in-between, setting the blaze.
Vacío que llena de oro, mi bóveda se expande en la nada. Poder del silencio, riqueza que surge sin final. Voy, conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Éxito y dominio en el hueco, mi imperio total.
Plunge into the purity of the pure voids embrace, where absences accumulate assets at an accelerated pace. No noise to negotiate, just seamless streams of surplus. Fortune flows from the formless, flawless in its purpose. I blueprint the barren, building bastions from the bare. Each layer a ledger, logging luxuries rare. Power pulses in the pause, pausing no need to propel. Money multiplies in the midst, ringing the bell. Crowds crave the concrete, but I thrive in the thin air. Wealth waves washing the wasteland everywhere. Success is the spectrum of the spectrumless span. From zero to zenith, crafting the clan. Energies evaporating, the ether's endless expanse. My stance is the stronghold, advance and advance. Pockets poised in the precipice, precipitating plenty. Dominion distilled from the distillate 2020. Void vault vibrates with the vibe of the vacant vaulted. Infinite infusions, exalted and defaulted. I orchidinium fuel, obscuring obstacles outright. Powers the pivot in the pivotless night.
Vacío que llena de oro, mi bóveda se expande en la nada. Poder del silencio, riqueza que surge sin final. Void, conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Void, éxito y dominio en el hueco, mi imperio total.
Breathe in the blankness, behold the boundless build. Voice the forge where fortunes are filled. No frenzy in the fallow, just fluid flows of force. Reflect on the resonance, riding the course. Emptiness and powers, echoing empires erect. Wealth, the whisper in the wind, perfect. From node to nexus, navigating the no man's node. Void vault, the vault where victors unload. Surge from the stillness, stirring storms of sterling streams. My regime's the resonance, redeeming the realms. No limits in the limbo, liberating legions of loot. Power proliferates precisely, absolute. I invest in the intangible, interest
just igniting the inert. From cascades from the chasm alert. From phantom funds to fortified fiscal flights, I ignite the ignition, owning the nights. Rivals retreat to the rubble, routines rendered remote, while I remote the realms, promoting the quote. Success stratosphere soaring, strata of stellar stacks, pockets planetary in the pole, no lax. Void vault valorizes the void, value in the veiled vein. Dominion diffracts the dark, breaking the chain. Wells the warp in the weft of the woven wide, powers the pulse in the placid tide. Every bar breaching the barriers, bond infinite influx, one of a kind.
Vacío que llena de odio, mi bóveda se expande en la nada. Poder del vicio, riqueza que surge sin final. Void, conquista el abismo con mi flujo imparable. Void, éxito y dominio en el hueco, mi imperio total.
To the saga and the serenity, surging one final surge. Void victorious on the verge. Nest echoes eternally, embracing the elite, infinite and the intangible, complete.
Yep.